Hello beauties, welcome to the show. And I've been really, really lax of late. I haven't been podcasting on this channel, so we're all go for the new year, and I feel I've kind of got behind things a bit. Do you know what? Christmas is so stressful, isn't it? And you have all that going on. I was making gifts for everybody. I think I had an entirely handmade Christmas. Pretty much. I mean, there were a couple of things, but it was certainly a recycled Christmas. And I made art aprons for the kids and art for the adults. Although one gift for one of the adults, my daughter and her husband have a deal, right? They've made a pact that if something comes in, because they've just had this house built, and if something comes into the house, they have to both really love it. Consequently, the house is quite bare. They're really, they're really sticking to their principles here, and I think that's reasonable. I think that's fair. Anyway, I made a painting, and one party didn't like it. My granddaughter loved it, and I felt kind of bad because I wanted her to have it, but actually I'd already said to my another daughter, if they don't like it, it's yours. Do you see what I mean? So she ended up with, she didn't mind at all. She loved it. So yes, another year has passed where my son-in-law doesn't like my work. I mean, this has been going on for 12 years or something. So, I'm not expecting, anything soon. But we did have a bit of a joke. And we decided that next year I'd turn up with, it was my daughter's idea. She said a huge breast. I thought I'd go, because I said to her, well, what about if I do sculptures, if I go a bit 3D? And she said, oh yes, turn up with a huge bosom, or a boob or something on a plinth. And I said, okay, that's sorted. So I'm actually going to do some papier-mâché sculptures. And you can get stuff that makes things look like bronze. So I'll just turn up with this bronze breast and watch his face. I mean, it would be hilarious, guys, hilarious. Anyway, what have I been up to? Well, I've sort of divvied my life up into 4 sections for the coming year. 4 businesses, I suppose. And they've each got a TV show, a Twitter handle, a podcast, and an app, or they will have by the end of the day. So we've got Toddle Poddle, which is I really love Toddle Poddle. It never really does anything, it's my kids' show, and I'm obviously, what can I say? There's a lot of competition. I don't have time to do it 24/7. I think that would help. It's a very difficult industry to get into, kids stuff. As I say, I think a lot of people think it's easy, and they get on Kindle and what have you, and they do all that. I do particularly like the idea of making paperbacks rather than Kindles. And, like colouring in books and stuff like that. So I'm sort of probably going to go that route rather than the route of the digital. I think kids should be a bit older when we start doing getting their digital screen time activated. I don't think it's necessarily very good for them. And of course, there is some evidence to show that it can trigger autism. So I think I'm going to go for touchy-feely stuff, on paper for the kids' stuff. And so also for the grown-up stuff, the poetry, because I'm doing poetry now. So I've got the Marchioness of Dorchester, which is where you're listening now. So she's got a podcast. She doesn't really have her own TV show, but that's all under the umbrella of the Telltale Club Academy of Arts. So if you're looking for stuff that I do, pop over there, video-wise. That's on Vimeo. So, it's, I guess Telltale Club kind of embroils everything, and that just makes it a bit easier for me. But it's so hard, and I'm going to have to write a list to remind myself what it is I actually do each morning, because I completely, get in a muddle. And then things, like this podcast just gets left behind. And if you're sort of out of the habit, 3 weeks go by and you haven't uploaded anything, which is a bit tragic, isn't it? So yes, and also setting up my gallery. So the art gallery, I mean, it's a bit of an indulgence, but I'm just about ready to get another month of AI and do a whole bunch of beautiful artworks that I've got. It's a really good way of doing it. You don't need AI all the time. For a start, it's very, very expensive. So dip your toe in and just do it for a month. You don't have to have it for a year, and I really like that. So what I do is I get all these ideas, make a few notes if I need them, or I have a load of books that I've written because I've been writing poetry and short stories the last few weeks, and they all need illustrations, they all need lovely illustrations. Now, I love my AI, and I don't want to do too much, pre-sketching, and I use my AI for my pre-sketches, and then I download them onto my laptop, and then I refine them, I recolour them, I change things, I change lines, I do all sorts of things. Whole sections I rub out and redraw, and that's what works for me, guys. It's very rare that my AI comes up with something and I think, oh, that's really good. I mean, it's really boring. I think we know this now, don't we? AI is quite boring. It's quite dull. However, I have launched a little mini project, which I'm finding rather amusing, actually. And it's a little poetry project. And it's the Qullmatic Bardinator. Isn't that brilliant? Now, the Qullmatic Bardinator is a poet channeling Shakespeare. So it isn't it, because I'm using AI. It uses the sort of, well, in the way that the sonnets were written originally by Shakespeare, and also his kind of idiosyncrasies, so words and stuff like that. And I mean, it's very good at it. It's very good at Old English, presumably because there's so much source material. So I'm not treading on anybody's toes using this. No copyright restrictions that I'm not doing any. Now that I've created these things, obviously that I own the copyright. So shall I read you one? So this is sonnet number 1. And this is the Qullmatic Bardinator sonnet, all about losing your mobile phone. So it is a postmodernist poet, and it fuses old-fashioned English literature, specifically Shakespeare, style with postmodern drama, the drama of losing your phone. So let's give it a bit of a read. Upon a day of modern sorrows deep, I lost my cherished friend, a device so sleek, no more the gentle hum of texts would peep, silenced. The calls that once did joy bespeak, in pockets deep where keys and coins do roam, my faithful phone, alas, did meet its fate. No more its screen would warmly welcome home the touch of fingers in a dance so great. Oh, woe is me for contacts lost in space. No more the selfies captured in delight. A silent voice, a curled and lifeless place, as passwords guard a memory so bright. Yet in this tech bereft, a lesson clear, to cherish moments now and hold them dear. Copyright 2023, Qullmatic Bardinator. What do you think, guys? It's pretty good, isn't it? I really like it. So I'm going to try and do one a day. Particularly inspired by, ghosting and things like that. Really postmodern problems. Fantastic. Okay, that's it for now, I think. Nothing more to talk about for the moment. I really am enjoying, making lots of new contacts on my Twitter, but I've kind of got a bit bored of it now. So I'm resisting the urge to go on there all day long. So, if you want to contact me, you're actually better off coming via the websites. So obviously you probably know them, iServalan.com and tailtellerclub.com. And also, actually I haven't told you about my fitness studio. So the fitness studio is waiting for equipment. So I did do a couple. They are live on the Vimeo TV channels, and I've also created a little app. So you can access all of this on the website. It's much easier just to go there and you'll find everything. But if you go to Vimeo, you can search video on demand. And if you search Tellteller Club or iServalan, hopefully you will get me. You will find me. Also, I didn't realise actually until today that video on demand with Vimeo is only accessible on laptops and desktops. I'm not sure if it's available on an iPad. I'll have to check that. But the apps are available on phones. And you can just link it to your TV screen, so you can watch it on a big screen. So they're the same platform. I'm putting up very similar videos, but they're kind of different in terms of the hardware that you use to engage with them. That's the only thing. So a little heads up there. Anyway, if you have any difficulty finding stuff and you're looking for it, let me know, because this is a sort of a big New Year thing for me, is, becoming a multimedia, multi-channel broadcaster. And it is quite techy, and I do get a bit confused. So if I get confused, I can't imagine what you guys are feeling. So anyway, I better go and get on with life. It was lovely to talk to you, and I'll be back tomorrow.